Well, we got a big day planned for you.
Really?
What's the occasion?
What's the occasion?
Why are you wearing pink trousers?
Why are you wearing a pink overcoat?
Today is National Pink Day.
What's your favorite color?
Pink.
I like pink. Pink is my signature color.
Why are you wearing so much pink?
Pink? It's my favorite color.
Happy National Pink Day.
Showtime!
There's seriously something called National Pink Day.
There is now.
Isn't that kind of ridiculous?
No.
Let's have a National Pink Day.
Pink is a pretty color.
Unless it has to do
Pink
with...
is a pretty color.
Unless it's a pink thing,
She
like
said
a
pink is
cancer
a-
type thing.
Pink is a pretty color.
They had...
Did you
yesterday was
just say
National
that?
Selfie Day.
I did see that. Yeah,
So-
we did that.
We
But
could have
let me
National
take a
Edge
selfie.
Day. We could have National Edge Day. All you have to do is just register.
Everybody has a day, right?
Yeah.
Everything and every person.
We could have National Vic Faust Day.
No, thank you.
All right. National Vic Faust Good Hair Day.
That would be every day.
Oh, Tab.
His chia pet hair.
Who's that? The Chia Pet? Well, I think it's growing. Those who didn't know, It's Brennan. We have this issue again. I don't know if it's a button you hit when you're in, but there's static. It's like when I talk. I don't know if it's the way that you. There. That's better. There we go.
I just put your mic a little too hot. That's
He's
all.
just got
like
the
it.
controls too high.
I like it. I like it a lot. No, I had that procedure with Hans. We'll get a docket sometime to come in and do it. In the back, a little bit in the front.
Little yard work done.
Yeah, a little yard work done.
That you
I was-
didn't
I
even
was
need
going bald.
done?
I did. It was just being proactive. I was going bald, and it's fine. It
Now,
just-
what happens when the rest of it falls out and that's the only spot you have left?
No, we took care of that too.
It's all those years wearing the helmet. We thinned up to,
Yeah.
up top
I
of the
loved
back.
it. I was great. I can't wait. It's starting to grow. I can feel it, like little stubble. I can feel it growing. It grows. It's not. They're not hair plugs, and all the other things that we've heard about in the past. It's actually your own hair.
They just move it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And so I'm excited about it. We'll see. How do we get on this again? What did you guys do?
It's National Vic Faust
Yeah.
Good Hair Day.
Oh, you said chia pet or something.
I said his chia pet hair.
Yes, my chia pet hair. It's growing. It is.
I'm just jealous.
I know. They
I
do
wish
stuff-
I had as much hair
Hans
as you
does
do.
stuff for women as well. It's been a great experience so far. I can't wait to show the before and after pictures. That would be, I think, in like 5 more months.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's different. It's not the Hans Wyman of, many, many years ago
Right.
where
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The stuff now is
You
absolutely.
didn't have to get the balloon.
No, it's crazy. Jamie Rivers over on 100.1 the sports radio.
I know
He's
Jamie.
Yeah.
He's you're not as much friends with these hockey people as you think you are.
I'm not. I know.
You always try to be like the puck girl.
I'm not a puck girl. That's offensive.
Why?
I don't watch hockey. I'm not a groupie. They just happen to be my
You're
friends.
a puck girl.
I worked with
I am
him, so
not
I
a
do
puck
know him.
girl.
Yeah, you are. What does that mean? It's like a puck
I don't know,
girl.
but it sounds offensive.
Why does that sound offensive?
I don't know.
You're a
Anything that's
pucker.
a.
You want to be a puck girl.
I do not want to be a puck
I know
girl.
you know all the hockey people. I'm just.
But no,
teasing.
Jamie is actually a really good friend.
I'm
He's
still
a
waiting-
super sweetheart.
I'm still waiting for Pat Maroon to call you back for our interview. From
Yeah,
2
no
years
kidding.
ago.
Me too. I thought I'd see him on Monday, but he's apparently still playing and not there.
Tabitha, yeah, duh.
How do I know? I looked for him.
What hockey players had the longest drives?
How? I would know. I have no idea. Know nothing about that stuff. I've never watched a hockey game in my life.
So anyway, he's got a procedure coming up as well. He's been talking about it on his sports radio
And he doesn't
show.
need it either.
Well, you don't know. I mean, you're not up close.
No, I'm
like-
not up
You're not
inspecting
tall
his head.
to see
No.
the top of his head. You need somebody taller to be able to see the top of his head.
I suppose.
I bet you there's dust on top of your fridge because you can't see it.
You're probably right.
Exactly. Well, there's dust on her kitchen table. That she
Hey,
can't
no,
see.
I'm not that short.
Don't you have 2-step stools you jump up on?
I actually have one in the back of my Jeep.
And a trampoline.
All right, we're efforting a bunch of stuff. By the way, welcome to The Edge. If you want to give us a call, 636-695-2915. 636-695-2915. Were you ever 5 foot, Tabitha? And then, because sometimes we start to lose height.
I am actually 5'2".
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I am
That's all-
5'2".
You know what?
In
Listen,
shoes?
I'm really
I
not
like
that
you.
short.
No, I like you. And hey, that's right. We're all different sizes and shapes and whatever. That's fine. You're not 5'2", but I was just wondering if you ever knew what it was like to be 5 foot.
I'm
You're
5'2"
not.
around.
You are not.
She has heels on.
They're not heels. They're
Is she, Brendan?
All right.
okay.
let's
Here, I'll
see.
take my shoes off.
So you're technically,
She's
how old are you?
5'2".
How tall are you? 6'3"?
No, like 6'1",
6'2"? Oh, that's you were a good foot taller. A solid foot taller.
You
She
can't.
was-
You couldn't see him in the
she
camera though. You could only see me.
She didn't even come up to
Tabitha,
your
thank you
shoulder.
Tabitha, thank you for playing along.
So
I do.
you didn't even come up to Vic's shoulder.
But I am 5'2".
Okay.
Yeah. If you're 5'2", I'm 6'4".
But it didn't work that well because nobody could see you. They could only see me.
If you're 5'2",
I didn't move over
I'm
enough.
6'4", and I'm not 6'4". That's funny. That is funny though.
You're very tall.
I know I'm not. That just did. I'm not very, very, very tall.
You're
at
actually
all.
you're a big guy.
Absolutely. Hold on. These tiles are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she might be 5'1" in those shoes. 'Cause
Okay.
each one of those tiles are a foot long.
Hey, I didn't realize the shoes counted.
Coming up today, we're efforting. We might be speaking with the DEA today. There's so much fentanyl coming into the area and the issues and problems that we're having. Waiting to hear back from the DEA. If not today, tomorrow. Also, an interesting thing happened last night. I hope that we could get this interview, and I'm texting back and forth with them right now. We had a gentleman who last night, he's a 16-year-old kid. He was part of a situation. I'm trying to find it. Yeah. A teen in Jonesburg, a 16-year-old tackled a bad guy last night at a gas station who was in a fight with a cop. This guy had a cop in a headlock, and he went and helped the cop. They were ended up able to detain this suspect and arrest him. And I'm texting back and forth. He's like, "That was no big deal." I'm like, "No, we want to talk to you on the Viper."
Yeah.
I was like, "Come on, man."
That's
But-
crazy.
Yeah, I know. And so I'm texting back and forth. Literally, as we speak, I'm texting with him. Come on to the show, explain what you did, and we'll see.
For a 16-year-old kid to be willing to jump in, especially 16-year-old kids these days, most of them would have just pulled out their phone and
Right.
recorded it.
Yeah, I know. I need you guys to talk for a second, real quick.
We're
Come up with
not.
something.
Brendan and I don't talk. We just don't. We don't know each other.
So, Tab, how are you?
I'm good, and I'm apparently short.
No, you're really not that short, but it is fun to tease you sometimes.
I know, but I like being short, just so everyone knows, because a lot of my friends are really tall, and I do envy them for being tall, but at the same time, it limits the people you date, because most women don't want to
What?
date people a lot shorter than them. And so the tall women have to look for, like Vic, you're a great size for a tall woman. You're still going to be taller than most tall women.
Even a 5'9"er. But a 5'9"er in heels is going to be close to you. So
But most tall women
Where
I know
did
don't
this-
want to date shorter guys.
I don't know. She was explaining
Our
why being
serious-
The
short
whole
is good.
range, the whole
Our
range is open
serious
for me.
political show that we have.
I've only met 2 guys that
Serious
are
topic.
shorter than me.
Really? Is it Wee Man from Jackass?
Man, we got. Hey, all right. I wish this kid is so great. I just wish that a lot of kids that and I have a 16-year-old. Would my 16-year have gone and helped? Hell no, probably not. And I love my son, and he's great, but he probably would have just sat to the side and taken video.
You think so?
I
I don't think so.
think
I don't
so.
think so.
I do think that's what he would have done.
Hey, if anybody is traveling eastbound on 70 near Zumbel, there is a bunch of traffic delays. So just to let people know, there's a cement truck that flipped over.
Which is a huge deal.
Yes. Cement everywhere.
Hopefully everyone is okay.
It just reports just say that expect long delays in both directions, actually. So
So is Vic, is the kid calling into us?
I'm trying to get him right now.
You're trying to get him? Well, that will be really nice. I mean, that is a hero, because you're right. Most people do sit by the sidelines and they videotape and they don't help. I will never understand it. If I saw something happening with people, I would never get the last thing on my mind would be getting my phone out to videotape it. I would be trying to help people. Just like accidents. People come along accidents and they're videotaping the accident and they're not actually calling 911. It drives me absolutely insane. I think all of us would be the type of person to help someone versus record.
yeah, sometimes it is actually a hindrance to do those things though too, because I was a police officer for a while.
Right. Yeah.
And when people get out, sometimes you have to tell them to get,
True.
get back.
True.
And I remember walking up to the scene of an accident one time where these people were out trying to help, and they were trying to get this person out of the car. You got to get out of the car, get a car. And they weren't in a dangerous, like the car wasn't ready to explode. It wasn't on fire or anything like that. But the person was hurt. You don't want to go through and pull them out of the car because you don't know if there's something wrong with the back, their neck, things like that.
Absolutely.
So you do have to be careful on things like
Gunner's calling us.
Awesome.
At 8:20, Gunner's going to call us. So there you go. We got it. We got it taken care of. I just had to make sure that, and he's up, but, oh, yeah, and that's a great line. He's like, he's still sleeping. No, this 16-year-old makes all of our 16-year-olds in the world look like they're not doing what they could be doing. Let's just put it that way. Gunner, who helped save a cop last night, who was in a headlock in Jonesburg, Missouri. And I can already tell he doesn't think it's a big deal. He's like, why would people want to talk to me? That sort of a situation. This is important. This is what we try to do on the show. We cover all breaking stories, headlines, you got it, news of the day, entertainment, make fun of Tabitha.
Hey.
Make fun of Eric. Make fun of my hair.
Yes.
That's what we'll do. Make fun of all the Lamborghinis, although that's not really making fun of Chris that he owns.
That's probably why he's not here.
He bought a fifth wheel yesterday. He got a camping truck.
So he's
now.
taking us camping.
Yeah.
So now he's got another toy. So he's taking care of that this morning.
He needs a place for to stash all the fishing poles.
This kid is something else. Okay. He's the secretary for his school's FFA organization. He plays football, baseball, track, currently taking 3 summer school courses and working for a concrete company in St. Charles. He's a straight A student that hopes to play college football in his future.
Good
you
for
get
him.
the idea. I was like,
he goes from Jonesburg to St. Charles every day too?
I have no idea what that means.
Wow.
We'll find out, but Gunner's going to call in at 8:20, excuse me. He tackled a suspect last night who had a cop in a chokehold near a gas station in Jonesburg. We'll find out what happened last night.
And if he's a football player, he probably did it with perfect form.
We'll see. But, from the Facebook line, cool name. Yeah, no doubt about it. We're going to get into that at 8:20. Also, at 9 o'clock, I just got that confirmed as well. We're going to talk with the DEA of our area, of our region of Missouri, about the drug situation that's going on right now. It's out of control. It's off the chart. And while they're doing a very good job at taking a lot of stuff off the streets in the state of Missouri, there's a lot coming in. You won't want to miss that interview. We're also going to be talking about the situation that's happening in D.C. right now when it comes to the new voting act that Democrats wanted to, for the people. What is it called, Tabitha? Never mind. Go back to
The
playing
Missouri Freedom Warriors, I believe.
Oh, my God.
Isn't it?
Tabitha.
I was answering a person's text.
Tabitha.
Not a text,
the Democratic
comment on the line.
the voting process.
The voting. Oh my gosh. Tabitha.
I've got my mind on that meeting at the quarry on the 27th.
Stop with the quarry. The quarry has nothing. We love you guys at the quarry. No, and Eric's not going to the quarry meeting. I had another message yesterday. I think 2 people messaged me yesterday. Don't give them. I'm busy. I can't make it. Eric will not be there because Eric never shows up anywhere.
You're right, and I agree with you.
The only person that's going if they go is you. And if you can go, that would be awesome.
Unless something crazy happens, I am intending to go, yes. And I apologize. Somebody asked me about ivermectin. I was giving them the ivermectin rundown on the comment line.
No, Republicans stopped the new voter act that the Democrats want to push through for basically having federal voting laws where it's taken over by federal situations. The problem is that to get this passed through, Democrats are going to have to do away with the filibuster. And you've got 2 holdouts right now. Sinema, she's from Phoenix or Arizona, and then you have Manchin from West Virginia. They're not budging. And it's 60-60. So they're not going to budge. So what are Democrats left to do right now? Or they're not going to be able to get that voting law. And they say it's in protest or protection to what Georgia and some other states are doing when it comes to voting. We'll get into that. Also, Eric Schmidt tweeted out something yesterday about how many people actually in this country want to see a voter ID to prove who you are.
Absolutely so.
He says it's 62% of Democrats nationally want to see by the latest studies.
Who wouldn't? Unless you plan to
make sure
cheat.
you know who you are.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, so, woo. And then last night, what a big topic we've talked about the last couple of weeks, especially yesterday, critical race theory. What exactly is it? What should be done about it? Last night, there was chaos in Loudon. School board meeting erupted. 2 parents were ended up arrested. It was crazy because people are like, parents are fine. They're standing up going, not in our school district. Not going to happen. And they wanted to know more about what it would actually mean. So this one was about critical race theory and pornographic books in school.
And what do they
Pornographic
consider
books?
pornographic?
I don't know. We're going to get into all of this. There's a lot. So we're packed again today. It happens like that. We'll take a quick break. Tabitha, did you put your high heels back on so we can see on camera?
Yes.
Are those
I'm
are
back
those
to being
5-inch
tall
heels?
again.
Are those 5-inch heels?
Probably like an inch,
Okay, that's it. An inch.
maybe an inch.
Hey, don't go anywhere. We come back from the break. We're going to talk with 16-year-old Gunner, who helped an officer last night who was in a chokehold. 16 years old.
Good for him. What a brave kid.
We'll talk with Gunner here in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to The Edge. Eric will be here. Hopefully, Eric will be back for this. Or unless he talked himself out yesterday, because he talked a lot yesterday.
Oh, yes, he did. He's probably scared to come in.
You couldn't get a word
He's
in
scared.
yesterday, could you?
He's scared.
I thought you were going to throw something at him.
I
Even
did
Linda
after the
yelled
show.
at him on the phone and said, "You talked all day."
Eric will be here. Chris is out this morning taking care of some personal business. That's Brendan Shanahan. Tabitha Hassell's here. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. When we come back, you can also give us a call if you want, 636-695-2915, 636-695-2915. Of course, you can always listen to us on the Viper at 100.7 on Facebook, 100.7 The Viper on Facebook. And, of course, we love it when you share the show. We'll be back right after this with more Morning Edge at 8:18.
Grab your coffee. The Morning Edge will be right back on 100.7 The Viper.
Contractors Flooring Supply is your Mohawk Revwood Select dealer. This is water-resistant wood flooring without compromise. In stock with free underlay at just $287 a square foot. Contractors Flooring Supply has solid, rigid core, waterproof plank stock. They carry a huge inventory for the do-it-yourselfer, or Contractors Flooring Supply will do the installation for you. Always free estimates at Contractors Flooring Supply, next to the new Rural King, Warrenton.
Whether you're a pro on the job site or managing properties, clean and safe is your #1 priority. And Lowe's has the pro-grade cleaning supplies you need. We go beyond the basics, bringing you commercial cleaning from top brands like Clorox, Zep, and Rubbermaid. And in larger sizes, so you can take on any cleaning job, knowing you have the quantity you need. Shop Lowe'sForPros.com and have your items delivered, or pick up in store. Lowe's, the new home for pros. U.S. only.
Compass Health Network is excited to announce the opening of the newest Express Care location on Newtown Boulevard in St. Charles. Compass Health Network accepts private insurance, Medicaid, self-pay, and a sliding fee scale. Compass Health Network cares for the whole person, the whole family, the whole community, with locations in St. Charles, Troy, Wentzville, St. Peters, and the newest Express Care on Newtown Boulevard by 370. For information, call 636-723-8465 or visit compasshealthnetwork.org.
As a trauma-informed provider, Compass Health Network is equipped to assist you or a loved one struggling with trauma, anxiety, depression, substance use disorder, or other behavioral health conditions. Our providers understand that everyone's life experiences are different and will work with you in person or virtually to develop the most effective plan of care. You are not alone. Call Compass Health Network today at 844-853-8937 or visit compasshealthnetwork.org for more information.
Tired of lying awake, tossing and turning, just hoping for a few hours of sleep? Get the sleep you crave with the one-of-a-kind Tempur-Pedic. Only Tempur-Pedic uses proprietary Tempur material that continuously adapts and responds to your body to relieve pressure, so you get deep, uninterrupted sleep all night, every night. The Tempur-Pedic Summer of Sleep is going on now. Take advantage of our best offer of the year and experience your best sleep of the summer. All Tempur-Pedic mattresses are on sale with select savings up to $500. Learn more at TempurPedic.com.
Midnight Auto Supply in St. Peter's carries a full line of automotive parts and paints. They're a PPG Platinum distributor of automotive paint and industrial coatings and auto body shop supplies. For over 40 years, your hometown auto parts store is Midnight Auto. Stop in at Midnight Auto Supply in St. Peter's, just off Mexico Road, 447-4000, 447-4000, on the web at mid-niteautosupply.com. Now, back to the Ed Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back to the Edge. That's why you need to hear our outtakes. Eric is taking Tabitha to school, as he should.
Yeah,
Sorry,
right.
I'm
Yeah,
siding
right.
with Eric.
We're talking about his fake friend with the fake COVID. It was
We're
really
talking about
Eric.
you texting all the time
Eric with
when
the
we're
fake
trying to have
COVID.
radio shows. Serious talk.
I'm being interactive with the listeners
If you
on
were
the
in high
Facebook
school right
line.
now,
Some
well,
people know.
that's good to be interactive with the listeners, but I want you to be interactive with your co-host first.
Ah.
Then
Wow.
you're interactive with the listener.
Wow.
That's called radio.
That's like the co-pilot not talking to the real pilot
Exactly.
and going back and hanging out and
or,
coach.
or the wingman taking off like Maverick did
Yes.
before he re-engaged and shot down the Russian MiGs.
Exactly. Upside down.
I need to count on you. Tabitha, you can be my wingman anytime.
I'm your wingman.
Hey, welcome back to the Edge, everybody. Eric Johnson's here. Brendan Shanahan in for Chris.
Oh, man.
Chris got another toy this morning, so he's taking care of that.
Has anybody seen the Lambo yet, by the way?
No, that must be nice.
I'm waiting for it.
Does he have 2 Lambos or 1?
He's got one that I know
I know
of.
he's got garages all over
Yeah, but he's
America.
leaving that one in Florida, isn't he?
All right. Tabitha Hassell's here. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Thanks for joining us this morning. Hey, real quick, we got our caller on the line, and I love the music that you played going into this, Brendan. Don't think that I didn't notice. There goes my hero. I love that music. We're talking with 16-year-old Gunnar Sexton. That's your last name, right, Sexton?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Gunnar, thanks for calling us this morning. In our texting, you acted as if it was no big deal what was going on regarding what happened last night. If you can tell us what happened, all I know is this, that you saw an officer last night in a situation with a suspect, maybe even in a headlock, and you assisted. What did you do, if you can let our listeners know? You don't think this is a big deal, but we do.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I was pulling up to get diesel, and I didn't even get out of my truck yet. I looked in my rearview mirror, and I seen the guy, suspect, and the cop following really close behind. And I got out, thought I was going to have to go help anyways. And then I seen the cop tackle him. And then I stopped going over there. And then another guy came over and was like, "What just happened?" And I go, "I don't know. I just seen him go down." And I looked back over there, and I seen that they were wrestling. And it looked like the suspect was getting the better of the cop. And then so me and the other guy ran over there and helped take care of the suspect.
What did you do?
Well, the cop already had him on the ground. He was the one that tackled him, but he had him. They were like wrestling on the ground. So me and the other guy had to pull him away from the cop, and like I had to lay on him, and the other guy was holding his arms and everything down to where he could not like move.
Were you afraid? I mean, or did the adrenaline just kick in?
I mean, I play football, so I mean the adrenaline just kicked in just because it's kind of like football. What I had to do, you just got to get the job done or whatever.
Gunnar, are you sure you're 16? You sound like a grown man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm 16.
Are you a big dude too?
Yeah, I'm like 6'5".
Were you looking
6'5"? How much do you weigh, man?
Like 235.
Not bad.
Oh, not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah, he's NFL tight end ready.
Exactly. Well, got a couple years, man. But seeing a cop getting his butt kicked, did it make you mad? Did it make you concerned? What was the feeling that kind of came over you?
Well, I honestly just thought, wow, this guy's actually fighting a cop. I got to go help. I got to do something to help him out. You know what I mean? It wasn't really that big. I felt like I needed to help. And I don't know, I guess the adrenaline just kicked in, and I went over and helped him real quick.
What was the response like from the other police when
I
they
was
showed
like,
up?
what department was this? Was it a state cop? Was it local?
Mm-hmm.
One was a state trooper, and there was two other, there was an EMS and an EMS ambulance that pulled up, and they helped really quickly after they pulled up maybe 2 minutes later, and that's when we actually started putting the guy in cuffs and everything.
Hey, Gunner,
they were thankful.
What did your parents say? That's a really dangerous situation. If my son did that, I would be so proud of him that he did, but I would also be worried at the risk he put himself in.
Yeah, my dad was over there at the fuel pump because he pulled up just after I got there, and I already ran and helped with this. And I was walking back when he got there, and he was making sure I didn't have any cuts or anything on me because you never know what could happen.
Right.
Well, let me ask you this. When you pull up, do you know, we're getting some questions from our Facebook line. We're on 100.7 The Viper as well, Gunner. Was it a Montgomery County officer, or do you know what department the officer was with that was in the struggle with the suspect?
It was a Montgomery County officer, I'm pretty sure. But, I'm pretty sure it was a Montgomery County officer because I was in Jonesburg.
So, has there been any other media that reached out to you national?
It just happened, Eric.
It just
happened last night. It'll come now.
Yeah,
I found out about this because of the opportunity for Fox 2 to do a story, so I jumped on it this morning and had to beg Gunner to come on the phone because our listeners, Gunner doesn't think this was a big deal, what he did. And I'm telling you, it was.
It's a huge deal.
Totally.
You have two people that run over instead of one. It could help. I mean, I don't even know, was the suspect. I mean, you never know what you're dealing with the suspect.
You don't.
If there's certain drugs in the system.
And they could get the officer's gun. I mean, and turn it against them. You don't know.
Did officers tell you shouldn't have done this, or you should have maybe, because calls probably had already gone out, correct?
No. I'm going to be honest. You guys are the first person to even really talk to me about it.
Well, we know Fox. We know. I'm sure Tucker Carlson will be talking to you tonight.
No,
Gunner, he's talking
cops really talked to me. They just said thank you or whatever.
But they didn't call for backup during that or anything like that. That's what Vic's trying to say. Because that can be dangerous. Being a former police officer, we a lot of times we tell the public to stay out of things. But doing something like that is very courageous.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that is a good point.
I think that there was cops there on site already, but it was just him that ended up chasing him because the other two already went back to their cars. I don't know what they were doing. They just I think they already had the guy detained or whatever, but not in cuffs. They just had him they were just talking to him, I guess.
You mean police actually were able to go detain somebody? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Hey, Gunner, how long did the entire incident take? You pull into a gas station to get some gas. One of the first things you see is a suspect maybe has a cop in a headlock. Is that true?
The first thing I seen a guy running from a cop in my rearview mirror, and I hopped out to honestly see what was going on. And then all of a sudden I see him going towards the off-ramp in Jonesburg, and then I see the cop tackle him. So I thought the situation was over with. And then the other guy came over, and me and him both seen that they were fighting and looked like the suspect was whipping the cop, to be honest. And so we were not going to have that. The other guy was a really good guy, too. And we really just wanted to make sure the cop was all right and get the suspect under control.
I love the way he just said that.
Thank God you were there.
We're not going to have that.
Right.
We are not going to have that.
I wish more people had that attitude because, you saved that police officer's life potentially. Because if the bad guy was getting the better of him, he could have easily reached for the police officer's gun, and he could have shot the officer. He could have shot bystanders. I mean, you guys probably really saved someone's life.
Hey, Gunner, I'd love to get details and visuals and things of that nature. Could you tell how big this suspect was?
Around maybe 6'1", 6'2".
Okay, so this is another big guy like you too.
Yeah, he was an all right size, but he was pretty skinny. He was really skinny. And I'm going to be honest, once he seen me, he started once I got on top of him or whatever, he started crying, so he didn't want to go to jail or something, I guess because how big I was or something. But
you should be a cop. Did that interest you? Did it spark something inside you to where I could do this job? I would be happy doing something like this, public service.
I mean, I I like to think that I'm a really nice person, so all I want to do is help people.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, I could see me doing that. I'd probably be more interested in like the EMS or whatever because my stepdad does that. But I don't know. It could. I'm not sure yet.
Once again, we're talking with 16-year-old Gunnar Sexton helped officers last night, or an officer in the Jonesburg, Missouri area, pulled into a gas station, saw what? Did we lose him? Yeah. Gunnar? All right.
Oh, that's technology at its finest right there.
Wait, if you can pick that back, maybe we'll get Gunnar to call back in. We'll try to. Do we have Gunnar back? We do have Gunnar back. Gunnar, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're sorry about that, buddy. We were trying some things on our board.
It's all right.
No, we're all right.
We had people who were calling in wanting to say things to you. I mean, that you don't think this is a big deal, but it is, and we appreciate it. Hey, once again, where do you go to high school?
I go to Montgomery City R2, Montgomery County R2.
All right, I want to get I want you to come play football with my son. We got to get you to St. Louis County.
Look at you recruiting over here, Vic.
I have a
That's not fair.
16-year-old, and I love him, and he's a great kid, and I teach him right. But I'm not so sure he would go run, or I would want him to go run. He's a quarterback, so I'm not sure.
Such a good question. Would you tell your sons to say, if you see a cop getting his ass kicked, you need to go help?
That's why I was curious.
That's such a good question.
If police told him, because a lot of times police tell people not to engage.
That's what Brendan just said.
But it was clear in this incident, the police thanked Gunnar for doing what he did out of safety. And I just want to let people know, Gunnar, if you didn't hear it earlier, Gunnar's very calm. He's polite. He's obviously raised well, comes from a great family, you can tell. He's a secretary for the school's FFA organization. He's the 6'5", 235-pound football player, baseball player. What do you do in track, Gunnar?
I throw heavy stuff.
Hammer throw.
Nice. If you were going to tell me you're a sprinter too, I'm like, okay.
He's the 440 champion.
The coaches will find you.
Stuff.
He's currently taking 3 summer school classes. And he works for a concrete company.
And next year's homecoming king.
And he's an A student.
Exactly.
And his goal is to play college football someday.
And now you can have any chick you want next year. So just look forward to that. Look, I made him giggle. I made him giggle.
His mom's probably listening.
That's okay. She's like, yeah, you're damn right he can.
Stop.
Good job, man.
Do we have somebody else on the phone line?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, and okay, he did drop. We still have Gunnar, though, right?
Yeah, we still have Gunnar.
Hey, Gunnar, have you heard back from anybody today about what happened last night? Did they take your name or anything?
No. Me and the other guy, they said thank you, and then me and the other guy just said have a nice day, and then we walked away.
Oh, it's coming, man. Trust me.
They need to give you like an honorary citizens award, like for an honorary police award or something.
Well, you never know. Maybe something will happen.
Oh, I think they will. I mean, it just happened, like you said, yesterday. It's early.
Hey, Gunnar, what time did this happen last night?
It happened at 6:50.
Okay, so it was still sunny outside as well. Had you ever dealt with anything like that before or seen anything like that happen?
No, that's the first time I ever seen anything like that.
Hopefully the last time, too.
Wow. I know we've had you on the phone for a while. I don't know. Are you racing to a job? Are you off today, or do you got to get to school?
I'm off today.
Okay, we have a caller, Paul Berry. Is that who's on the line? I think we have Paul Berry who called in. Paul ran for St. Louis County Executive against Sam Page. Paul, are you there? Is that Paul?
Oh, absolutely.
Paul,
I was just following along the conversation. Guys, I live in Maryland Heights, so I get the signal loud and clear. I get it also on my app. So great conversation this morning. I just wanted to be a genie. And if there's anything going on in the public space that you guys are interested in talking about, I'm always here for you.
Nice.
Okay, were you calling in about Gunnar?
Well, actually, I was calling in about this whole thing with law enforcement. The city is just exploding in crime. I mean, you have these 4-hour spans where 6, 7, 8 people are getting shot. And to me, it's like everybody's ignoring the situation.
Well, I don't think they're ignoring it. Well, Paul, could you hold on? Can we finish up with Gunnar? I thought you wanted, that's my fault. I thought you were calling in to say something about Gunnar.
I like Gunnar. I'm scared he's going to throw me because he's huge.
I was just wanting to finish up with Gunnar, and then we can give you a call right back, or you can give us a call back in 5 minutes.
That'd be perfect,
Well,
brother. Thank you.
Or unless Eric,
There's
you
a
have
little bit of a gradient here because
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Gunner is he's a
We'll keep you on then, Paul.
He's a witness to a generation. He's a new generation that's looking at cops potentially being brutalized in front of them. I never saw that in my entire life. We didn't go through any of that stuff where we demonize police. Gunner is now in a situation, an era of the United States history where beating up a cop is almost fashionable.
Well,
people have been fighting cops.
And
his name
far
is
as time
Gunner
goes back.
Sexton, and we do. Tabitha, you said a lot of police listen to the show.
Absolutely.
I know for a fact Missouri Highway Patrol does. Gunner, don't be surprised if you don't hear from somebody getting back in contact with you.
As a poster child for
not
the, you
because
know,
you're looking for it, because I think we can tell how humble you are, but because helping out, you helped, you did, and police didn't tell you did something wrong.
I would love to get the office or the chief on from that county and ask him, sir, is this something you would recommend from this point forward? If you see a cop being beaten up, would you recommend?
Well, you know what they're going to say. They're going to give the standard PSA, and it would be the sheriff.
No, I'm
and he's probably going to.
It's a standard PSA. Like
that's fine.
Because
police
they're
do
not
their
going.
job.
They're not going to tell somebody to intervene because they're not going to say anything that's going to put the citizens in danger. But
Yeah,
we
they would probably just say to stay out of the way, and they'll call for backup. But
exactly. But you still did the right thing
in the situation.
You
And we also
absolutely did the
belong
right thing.
to a very litigious society.
Yes, we do.
So the fact that you are not someone who is trained to do that, they could come back. That's one of the things that they say. But there's enough witnesses out there that you would have something on your side.
Absolutely,
So you'd
you
be fine.
absolutely did the right thing.
Hey, Gunner, if you ever get pulled over for speeding, if it happens, I know people are human. There might be a time where you might get pulled. You need to bring this up. Say, I need some help. Listen, we tried to help you guys. Gunner, I'm just kidding. Hey, we appreciate you joining us this morning on the show. If anything else comes of this, you've got my phone number. Please let me know, and we'll continue to keep. And then I'll push it through for Fox 2 today to see if we can get out and come and do a story. Are you open pretty much all day? You said you were off. I didn't know if you had school today or work.
I mean, I have homework for those classes, but other than that, not really, no.
You're okay, but I'm real quick. You're a straight A student. Why are you taking summer school? Are you like getting ahead?
Well, sort of, because I'm taking this class called VOTech, and it's like you know what State Tech is?
No.
Oh, well, it's like a technical school or whatever,
right.
but this one's for high schoolers. It's VOTech. It's out of Mexico, so I'm
Mexico,
looking to go
Missouri.
for that next year.
Nice.
Of course you are. You're
Hey,
like the
I
perfect kid.
feel completely irrelevant in this world anymore.
Gunner, were there other
bass.
people there that just pulled their phone out and tried to videotape it while you were actually doing something? Because we were talking about a lot of 16-year-olds would have just pulled their phone out and
started videotaping.
gotten some Instagram likes.
I think I've seen maybe one or two people driving by taking a picture of it, but other than that, no, because not really very many people seen it. It was just me and the other guy, and then there was a guy that pulled in. It was in a white Chevy or a GMC, pulled in and helped after the whole thing was done to make sure it was all taken care of.
16-year-old Gunner Sexton helping an officer last night who was in a headlock from a suspect, pulled into a gas station. For those who are just joining the show, we have a lot of people listening and watching. 16-year-old Gunner helped a Montgomery County officer, was thanked by police, and joining us this morning on the show. Gunner, thanks again, man, for taking time. I know your parents are proud of you. You should be proud of yourself, even though I had to beg you to come on the show this morning. Beg you. And I think part of
He's
me was
humble like I am.
Yeah, right.
He is.
Part of me was surprised that you were up pre 8 o'clock this morning. But
Yeah, I had to be up at 6 because I had weights today.
oh, that's
he
right.
gets more done before 6 o'clock than we get done all day. He's like
Probably.
the Navy.
There is hope for our future generation.
There
That
is
is
hope.
for sure.
I feel so much better right now.
Hey,
Thank
Gunner,
you.
what's your ideal football school if you're to play somewhere?
I don't know, like Mizzou, maybe.
What position do you
Or-
play at 6'5", 235 on the football field?
I play offensive guard, but I can really play anywhere, and I play defensive tackle.
Okay.
We know some people on this show that played at Mizzou.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll let him know about you, Gunner. I played a Mizzou a long time ago.
Send
my
in
friend.
a tape. Send in a tape. At 16.
I want to get Gunner to St. Louis somehow, and St. Louis County to play with my son. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They could use an offensive guard on that team. So anyway, hey Gunner, thanks again, man. I appreciate it. Don't be surprised if you hear from Fox 2 today, and as Eric said, don't be surprised if you hear from Fox National.
Yeah, right. We'll be looking for you.
Wear your Trump shirt.
But we appreciate. Hey, we appreciate it, Gunner. Have an awesome day, and tell your mom we said thanks for letting Fox 2 know so that we could actually get this interview on today.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Hey, Gunner, do you have an Instagram account?
No.
You don't do any social
Good
media?
for
either,
you.
do
Oh
you?
my God! Now this is a 16-year-old
This-
that I
This
love
guy's,
this.
he's not from
So
Earth.
you don't do any social media either?
No, I did for a while,
But then I realized
that.
how evil it was.
You
and-
need to open another
This kid
account.
is too good. Well, you could use it for good if you ever get back on.
Well, I mean, think of the women, Gunner.
Oh, God.
Tabitha.
Think of the
I already
women.
got one.
There you go.
Guy,
Yes.
he's perfect.
Well,
Gunner
you're
is
only
perfect.
16. You could use a few.
Tabitha, leave him alone.
Tabitha's evil. Do
You
not
are
listen
evil.
to her. When you grow up, we'll let you know stories about Tabitha
Hey,
Hassell.
now.
It's not good.
Tabitha would only come up to your shin. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
She's kind of shady after hours.
And if you.
All right.
Hey, Gunner, sorry to
Gunner.
put you on the spot. We're just
Sorry,
having
buddy.
some fun.
Yeah.
You are a great, great young man for what we know. Thanks again for giving us hope for our future. And hopefully your friends are like you are too. And if they're not, hopefully they should be. Once again, his name is Gunner Sexton, 16-year-old, helped out a Montgomery County officer last night because you never know what can happen. Helped detain a suspect till police got there. So all 6'5", 235
Yes.
pounds of good young man, Gunner Sexton. Gunner, have an awesome day. All right, bud?
Yep. You guys too.
All right. Gunner Sexton. Wow. Is that too good to be true? We got him out
A
of
little
Central
bit.
Casting.
A little bit.
I mean,
Well, no, see, okay, Vic. So we talk about this all the time. I wanted to ask him maybe how in his community is that defund the cops thing, is that take hold in his buddies and his friends as 16-year-olds? Because he doesn't.
I don't think there's a lot of defund the cop sentiment going on in Montgomery County.
You would hope not. You would hope not. But
I
he's in a-
think that's one of those Trump signed territories and
Yeah, you're right. But I mean,
pro
it's-
Constitution,
it's-
etc.
It's like a fashion statement.
you know what, though? Try to put yourself in that situation. Take yourself back to your 16-year-old self. This is what I was doing listening to him. If I was 16 and saw a suspect with a cop in a headlock on the ground,
Yeah.
what would I do?
What would you do?
I don't know. I really don't know. I can say, yeah, I'm going to go run, or I can say, I really don't know unless I was in that instant.
And his size, I mean, hopefully that played a part too, because he
Absolutely.
was
Look.
so much probably bigger than this guy.
This is a different era we're living in. I mean, if you see a cop getting his ass kicked outside of a Cardinals baseball game, which is so possible, by the way, it is so possible. Not in the old days, it wasn't, but today, you could see that. You could theoretically in your mind.
Well, we have to remember, Eric,
see that happening.
This happens every day in this country to police officers literally around the country, around the world, where there are people they're trying to detain
as a
who
good
resist
American,
arrest.
as a good American,
This same thing would not have happened.
Hold on. As a good American, do the cops now say, if we are in a situation, we might need your help? Is that
That is
something?
not going to happen.
No, I know,
Never
I
said
know
that.
that's what you're thinking. And
No,
I know
it's
that
a fact that will never happen because,
if-
Brendan said, they're not going to put the citizens. They don't want citizens to put their lives at risk, and especially
if you see a
if
cop
Gunner would have
drowning
gotten
in
hurt.
a river, do you not try to help
That's
them?
different.
It
That's
is
a
very
different,
different
that's a-
situation.
Why is that different?
Drowning in a river is different from letting that because they're not
What?
necessarily doing their job.
It endangers the citizen either way.
That's a very
it's
different-
a totally different
totally
story.
different situation.
Because
I don't think
if something's
so.
going on and there's a criminal act happening, and the police officer is responding to
And
the
getting
criminal
his ass
act,
kicked.
and getting his ass kicked,
And the service weapon is about to be taken from said cop. Come on, I don't think.
But Eric-
I think
I'm just telling you that they will.
Right.
The corporate line would be do not do anything. You step away because that's the police officer's job. They're paid to put their life on the line. That's what they do.
Interesting.
It's different if a police officer is drowning. That could be anybody. That could be Vic drowning, Tabitha drowning. And if you're willing to jump in and do that, that's completely different than if
even if somebody were pulling a gun on tap.
Isn't that the same thing if I go down to Pioneer or down to the landing in St. Louis and I see someone kicking Tabitha's ass? Shouldn't I jump in to try to help
You
Tabitha?
could do that. That's different. That's a different.
It's not a
that's
police
different from a
officer.
police officer.
Not that I would help, but I'm just
I
saying.
would probably laugh and take pictures.
And Eric, you have to remember this too. When the police officer,
she's getting her own.
Okay, now when the police officer sees you coming, I mean, hopefully the police officer understands that you're trying to assist them.
Yes.
But they also might
Yes.
think you're part of the attack on them.
Well, that's
because
their
it's all
problem.
happening very quickly. And and Gunner really did put his life in danger because that suspect could have taken that officer's gun in those short few minutes, and seeing a big person running at them could have shot him.
Yeah, thin
And
blue line kind of thing.
I will
man.
tell you this right now. There's no way that this same scenario happens in St. Louis City. There's no
Why
way
not?
that
That's
there's no way that
exactly
there's
what
no
I'm
way
talking
there's
about.
no
We
way
don't-
no
we
there's no
don't
way that
know.
somebody jumps in
You just
the same way.
I don't know.
I think that
hear-
county
I
is
see
a
stories-
different.
I don't know.
I
It's-
would.
It's so
I don't
hard
know.
to
I
get
would.
into. It's so hard to guess because it all depends on the kid, the individual.
You're right. You're right. I guess I'm generalizing, but I just don't think that it's the same mindset where he comes from. You can tell that Gunner's a hardworking family kid, just good values, things like that.
Yeah, you can tell
And
by
if it were
talking
and if
to
it
a
were
kid.
anybody, he would have jumped in to do something.
I
Like
think
we
it's
said,
in-
most 16-year-olds are pulling out their cell phone
Man,
to try and make their
imagine-
Instagram likes.
Imagine some cop in St. Louis. You find out the next day he gets killed or he's in the hospital, and you walked right past him on your way to whatever club that you're going to, and you didn't stop and help. How do you feel at that moment? Because the cops say don't help us out. No, Gunner did exactly the right thing.
He
I
did
think.
do the right
I mean, it was
thing.
Did he?
I
Not
think
according
he did.
to you, he didn't.
No, according to police, not me.
Yeah, I think he did the right
I think
thing.
he did the right thing. I would have stopped and done anything I could to help a police officer, despite my size. But I think he absolutely did the right thing. But at the same time, he did put himself in a very dangerous situation.
No, the criminal put himself in a dangerous situation. When a criminal, if you see someone breaking into a house and you walk by the house and you go, yeah, someone's robbing that house over there, you're just as complacent, in my opinion, as
from the
anyone else.
Facebook line, just don't take the win away from him. He did the right thing.
He absolutely did the right thing.
Exactly.
But in this day and age, you have to look at every single part of it. You'll have some people say, well, I don't want my 16-year-old going to try. What if, like Tabitha said earlier, he got a knife, got a gun, he got shot, things of that nature. Somebody else did, the officer. That's the worst case. The bottom line is this worked out. He felt comfortable with it. There was already one officer there. Gunner had a second individual there, too. There was a second pedestrian that also helped him
Correct.
go after. So they had numbers on their side as well to make you feel a little bit more comfortable with the situation that happened.
I would have been
And I'm
very
celebrating
proud.
this 16-year-old kid and who he is and what he is, in addition to what he did last night, in addition to what we heard him talk about and everything that he does have going on with his life, and just hearing a humble kid who tried to help, who's doing great in school, who doesn't do social media, and didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Extremely brave. He's extremely
didn't
brave.
think it was that big of a deal, and is trying to use all of the gifts and skills that he has for good.
Yes, I agree.
And thank God he called us in, because that's good radio, and that's what we.
It was
try
good to hear
do.
his side of things and how everything played out.
I'm just glad that it's a positive story and it came out. So hopefully we're able to do a story on Fox 2 today. I will certainly be pitching that story, and we'll get to see Gunner, not just here.
I want to see you stand next to him.
Still hear from
And
Gunner.
then you got to look up to him, Vic.
Oh, I would be. I definitely would be if that kid is 6'5". That's for sure. But it's just nice to know, and it's a positive story. Good way to start, because God knows we have so many tough topics to talk about when it comes in. We'll definitely be doing that coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. I just Gunner's parents and family have to feel pretty good about what they have over there in Montgomery County. That is for sure.
Yeah, being a parent, I would be super proud of my son to do something like that, and very relieved that nothing more happened.
Exactly, because we could be having a story the opposite of this.
Yeah, you're right.
Unfortunately, things do happen.
The real monsters in all of this stuff are the cats that see these cops in New York getting their asses kicked, and they're literally
and don't do
filming,
anything and look on. I agree.
And they're filming the
Right.
situation, laughing about the situation, because this is becoming a fashion statement to jump on a cop car and twerk. And man, get on Facebook and Instagram, because the The left-wing media is not going to cover this. You might get a couple of people like us. The Morning Edge might cover it, and you might see Tucker Carlson cover it, but don't worry about them. The other media is not going to worry. So what I'm saying is if you do see this stuff, you might start to see it more and more unless there's a public backlash against it. Good job, Gunner.
And we just want to let everybody know you're listening to The Edge. If you're new to the show, if you heard about the interview, things of that nature, you can watch us on Facebook at 100.7 The Viper. We love it when you share the show as well. 100.7 The Viper on Facebook. You can also give us a call if you ever want to as well. That's 636-695-2915. 636-695-2915. Eric Johnson's here. Brendan Shanahan in for Chris, who's taking care of one of his vehicles this morning. Tabitha Hassell's here. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. And I can tell you this much. We're going to take a break in a couple of minutes, but coming up at 9 o'clock, you won't want to miss our interview. We're going to talk with the DEA. Listen to this. Overdose deaths now in our area up 30% from 2020. And fentanyl seizures have increased both in our area and at the border. In the first 8 months of this year, they've already seized 36% more fentanyl than all of 2020.
Unbelievable.
If you don't think the situation is bad in our country, and specifically in Missouri, think again. We're going to learn more about that from the DEA. We'll have more on that coming right up. Don't go anywhere. Give us a call if you have questions. We try to get to your questions on Facebook as well, and ask those of our guests from the DEA. All right, we'll take a quick break. Eric Johnson, Brendan Shanahan, Tabitha Hassell, I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. You won't want to miss this interview when we come back. Also, some advice on what to look for with your teens or family members or loved ones if they might be involved in something and not even realize when it comes to fentanyl and things that are laced with fentanyl. Can't wait for this interview. Back right after this. It's 8:52 on the Morning Edge.
Start your summer concert experience June 26th in Ellsbury with the band's Almost Famous and local musician Jesse Vaughn. The Ellsbury Community Growth Association invites you to this free family-friendly show from 5 to 7 at First Midland Bank and Trust Park. Food and beverages will be available. And for more info and directions, go to growingellsbury.com. Thanks to the presenting sponsor, Heartland Restoration.
The Edge Morning Show. Yeah, we know we don't start as early as the other shows because we're a lot smarter.
Mark your calendars for barbecue June 19th. Overstock Outlet is hosting the St. Charles County Young Marines and Marine Corps League. Show your support. Barbecue available 11 till 3. Overstock Outlet, 8621 Highway N, Lake St. Louis.
What's more American than celebrating the 4th of July? Getting your fireworks from a veteran. Dogpack Fireworks in New London's veteran owned and has everything you need to have a blast this 4th of July. For 29 years, owner Michael Lutz and his family have been providing top-notch products at mind-blowing prices. From firecrackers to 500-gram cakes. Whether you want a little or a lot, Dogpatch Fireworks has it all. And Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. until 11 p.m. until July 10th. Dogpatch Fireworks. Next to Woodsy Acres and Salt River Trading Post in New London. Look for the daily specials on Facebook at Dogpatch Fireworks.
Since 1987, Illy HVAC has taken care of your heating and cooling needs. Call Illy HVAC today at 314-808-2162. 314-808-2162.
Start with everyone with a brand new puppy they cannot leave home alone. And there he is now, disemboweling a sofa. Now narrow it to the puppy parents who need to get their prescriptions refilled today. For you, there's Walgreens same-day prescription delivery. Medication sent right to your door from the local Walgreens you already know and trust. So you can spend all day at home teaching your new puppy some manners. Elroy, roll over. Or just sit there and tilt your head. Aw. To join, text JOIN-RX to 21525.
Now another hour of The Edge Morning Show on KFNS Troy St. Charles. The Edge Morning Show.
People's Bank and Trust is helping you get a grip on your finances with our new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills all from the palm of your hand. Visit us online at www.pbtc.net for more information and to start using mobile banking. People's Bank and Trust, hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Viper weather with legendary chief meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hi, this is Viper meteorologist Dave Murray on this Wednesday. Lots of sunshine. It's a couple of degrees warmer today compared to yesterday, but we'll still take it. And the humidity levels are okay. Also, I think it's going to get a little windy this afternoon. 85 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, another great evening. 65 for the overnight low. Thursday, partly sunny skies. A little more humid in the afternoon, and there'll be a few more clouds around on Thursday. 89 degrees, and then we get into a scattered shower and thunderstorm pattern Friday night, Saturday night, maybe even into Sunday. So we're kind of getting a front stuck over us, and there is a potential, at least for some localized heavy rain and a potential for some severe weather Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday morning. We'll keep you up to date. From the Viper Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray. Now back to the Edge on 100.7, The Viper.
Whipper River Electric, a Touchstone Energy cooperative. The Edge Morning Show.
Local headlines now with Fox 2's Vic Faust.
And welcome back to The Edge, everybody, with Eric Johnson. Brendan Shanahan in for Chris Knight this morning. Tabitha Hassell's here. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Thanks again for joining us. Once again, if you want to give us a call, the phone number 636-695-2915. 636-695-2915. Of course, you can always join us on Facebook as well. Live 100.7 The Viper on Facebook. We love it when you share the show as well. And once again, special thanks in our first hour. That's right. An hour has already gone by. That's how fast the show moves. The fastest 2 hours of morning talk radio. Thanks again to 16-year-old Gunnar Sexton, who helped subdue a suspect last night in Montgomery County. Just a great all-around kid. I had a chance to talk to his mom during the break. She said she had goosebumps listening to her son talk, and I don't blame her. We'd all love a 16-year-old like Gunnar and everything that he has going on. That was more of a happy story that we have, unfortunately. As we know, there's a lot of serious things in life, and one of those issues right now is what's happening when it comes to overdose death and fentanyl being trafficked through this area. We've had several stories on it before. We've talked with the DEA several times, and now we have a special guest that we're going to be talking with. We'll get her in just a second. She's going to be calling in, and I led to this leading into the break. Fentanyl. It's a bad, bad, bad situation. If you don't think it's coming into the United States or even the state of Missouri, think again, because it's here. And there's an effort that's happening right now between the DEA and Addiction is Real. And we're going to talk with the president of Addiction is Real. Her name is Pam Greenberg. Now, they have partnered with the DEA to try to do what they can throughout the St. Louis area and in the state of Missouri as well when it comes to the problem with fentanyl. Pam, welcome to the show. You're on with Eric, Brendan, and Tabitha. I'm Vic Faust with Fox 2. I guess this may sound kind of trivial, but how serious is this situation right now with fentanyl in our area?
Well, that's a good question for Andre. He is with the DEA and has all the stats, but I'm telling you, each since 2019, the deaths, overdoses, and deaths from fentanyl has increased exponentially.
Yeah, the stats that the stats that we had that I was leading into break when it comes to this is right now deaths are up 30% over overdose deaths, and fentanyl seizures have increased both in our area and at the border. In the first 8 months of this year, 36% more fentanyl has been seized than all of 2020.
That's exactly right.
So
Yeah,
what
it's-
exactly is it that you're doing and partnering up with the DEA?
Well, Addiction is Real is a group of people who came together almost 6 years ago in order to educate parents on what the side effects and the symptoms of drug abuse and use are. I lost my son 6 years ago to an overdose, and I needed something to be positive. I just needed to get the message out to parents because I was so naive. And so we put up a bedroom, and we will travel with that bedroom, put it up in schools, churches, organizations, and it's a teenager's bedroom with more than 70 things hidden in that bedroom for parents to walk through to see what they can find, and then we show them what they have missed. So it's a real education for parents.
Well, we've also got. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. We also, in light of the pandemic, when we could not get into schools, et cetera, we created a film which is called Don't Wait, and you can access that on our website, addictionisreal.org, and it will take you through the messages from parents, from recovering addicts, from teachers, all kinds of people talking about this, and the experts talking about the statistics and really educating parents in a way that we couldn't during the pandemic.
We've also got Andrea Swanson. She's the public information officer of the DEA on with us. Andrea, what can you let our listeners know right off the bat when it comes to this situation, what you need to know?
Well, we're talking about counterfeit pills, and the one thing that we're trying to get out is one pill can kill.
That's an interesting. Can we explain, first of all, because I'm not totally sure what fentanyl is. Look, I don't do drugs, never have. What is fentanyl? Is it something?
Fentanyl is an end-of-life drug given to cancer patients to help with their pain.
Okay. So it's like a morphine kind of thing, I guess, right?
Much stronger.
It's actually 50 times more dangerous or deadly than morphine.
Yeah, we can't even go near it. We do stories. You have to. It's in glass enclosures. We stay away.
Right.
You
Just
have
the
gloves
fumes
on.
can kill you.
Absolutely.
What?
Yeah, so we actually have when our agents go out and they go into a counterfeit pill operation where they're basically taking fentanyl or other ingredients and they're mixing them together in pills. They will go in fully geared up to collect evidence. And as a general rule, when they see counterfeit pills that they suspect have fentanyl in them, they won't even take them out of their bags or however they're stored. They'll just package them up as evidence and ship them off to our laboratory.
How is it? Is it an additive to other things to make it more addictive? Is it a premier drug that people are looking for? What is? I mean, is it? How does it kind of interact with the client base, I guess?
Well, so in this area, it's meth or fentanyl that we're seeing a lot of. And so what is happening is we're a pill-popping nation. People are used to taking pills. So if you got addicted to Xanax or oxycodone, you go and you can no longer get it from your doctor. What do you need to do? You're going to go online. You're going to find somebody who's selling it. You're going to have it delivered to your door. We're talking about teens and young adults that are doing this, by the way. Comes to their door. They think they're getting oxycodone or Xanax or Adderall or whatever their pill of choice is. But what they're really getting is a counterfeit pill that has some unknown combination of drugs that was probably mixed in a blender in somebody's garage.
Wow.
And then pressed into a pill shape that looks like what they think they want.
Because it's killing a lot of first-time users, young kids who are the first time they ever take one of these pills. It seems like so many of them are dying. I don't know how we can stop it or change it.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we're going out and talking this, and why Addiction is Real is partnering with DEA, is they have the education message. We're in enforcement of the laws, so it is good when we partner with organizations like this that actually can reach out to the schools and the parents in environments and tell them how to recognize this. I mean, I think Pam's got some great things that she showed me, and it blew my mind what is available out there that I didn't know about.
That's Andrea Swanson, the voice you just heard. She is with the DEA. We deal with Andrea and the DEA, who do a phenomenal job in Missouri with Fox 2 quite a bit. And you'll see them on other outlets throughout the St. Louis area. We've also got a double interview going on. We've got Pam Greenberg, who we started to talk to at first, who's the president of Addiction Is Real. I guess on what Andrea just said, Pam, we're talking about what fentanyl is, but we're also talking about how you can see if this is happening with somebody that you love. And I'm assuming that you have some ideas or advice on what to look for or how to stop it, because it can happen to anybody, especially when you don't think it is.
Right, but one of the statistics that we make sure that we share with parents initially is that by talking to your kids regularly about the dangers of drugs and alcohol, you can reduce their chances of using them by over 40%. Now, that's a big deal. The bad news to that is that only 1 out of 4 teenagers report having those conversations. That's 75% of teens who have no idea how to say no, what to say no to, or how their parents feel about it.
Well,
that is just astounding.
It seems like once they're addicted, they're addicted. Now you're dealing with a different problem altogether. Once they're on fentanyl or meth or whatever it is, now there's a new problem that you have to deal with, is getting them off of that substance. It's not like you can say, oh, wow, this is going to kill me. Yeah, I'm out. I'm not going to do this anymore. You have to literally wean them backwards to get them off of these drugs like heroin. And I always, during this conversation, I'm thinking, how do you fix this? I still remember to this day, and I want to ask your opinion. The scared straight approach sometimes works. When you see the faces of these addicts, when I was a kid, they brought me into a jail cell to show us, this is what happens if you sell drugs. This is what happens if you drink and drive. And they put you in that jail cell.
That's funny. My dad was a cop, and he took me into jail a couple times.
It worked to this day.
I walked through I walked through a county jail.
I think that
it scared that out of me.
Yes, and the old officer-friendly programs. When I was a kid, that's what taught me about drugs.
Well, fantastic. But I'll tell you what, that this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. The bacon and egg thing. That was stupid to me. Show people what this is going to actually do to them as they're laying in a ditch with blood coming out of their nose, dying from fentanyl. That's what because I had to literally ask the question today on the air. What is fentanyl? I think that might be a problem within itself.
But the problem, Eric, is there's young kids. They're taking what they think is oxycodone, and it's laced with fentanyl, and they're not fentanyl addicts. You know, they're not drug addicts. They think they're getting, an oxycodone or something, or something else, and it ends up killing them. A Xanax. Their very first time out. It's a really bad problem.
Well, Pam, we're from the Facebook line. How do parents recognize a fentanyl addiction with young children?
Well, what we're telling parents is how kids hide it from them and some of the signs and symptoms. So if you go on our website, we have a mock bedroom set up where if you hover your cursor over a shelf, it'll show you, go to this. You hover it over this soda can. It might say Coca-Cola. And it opens up where this was purchased online. The top of the can unscrews, and it's completely hollowed out so that you can hide whatever you want in there. Now, it's weighted, so if mom or dad pick it up, it feels like it's a full can of soda or water, or there are so many different things that you'll be able to see on our website that will just blow your mind, because kids are very creative. And most of these things can be purchased online. And if you don't want to do it that way, you can also go to this wonderful website where these two guys will show you step-by-step how to make them yourself.
What are the physical properties that you see in someone, like a kid who might be getting into these drugs?
Sure. Well, you see a whole personality change. You see them their grades start to drop, their grades drop, they're less likely to graduate, they're sadder, they change their group of friends, where you knew their group of friends before and now you're not sure who they are, but yeah, you think those kids are kind of shady. You have to keep your eyes open for the change in your child. Their brain is still being constructed. And as you put these poisons into their brain, you can change their brains for the rest of their life. I mean, they can't come back from all of that.
Do you guys have a strategy right now of using mass media, such as television, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, to get this? I think that we have to offend our sensibilities.
No, we're consistently doing stories with the DEA, Eric.
I'm not talking about stories, Vic. I'm talking about. I log on to check my email, and there's an ad that says if you deal with heroin, methamphetamines, cocaine, pot, this is a thing called fentanyl. This is what's going to happen to you, and kind of offend the whole public at the same time, saying I can't believe this is out there. And is there any kind of a mass media communication advertising strategy that you guys have?
So the DEA is actually working on something right now, and we're still a government agency, so it takes time to work through the system. Sure. But they are trying to work on a social media and advertising campaign that will be called "One Pill Can Kill." And we're trying to get that word out there because of the fact that we're seeing so many counterfeit pills coming into our neighborhoods, and it's just, and we can't stop it. All we can do is like stop the demand, because drug traffickers, it's a business. They're in it for the money.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. People. Where is it coming from? How is it getting into the country and being distributed into the community?
Well, it probably helps to understand it. So the way, if you understand, is heroin and cocaine are plant-based, meaning they're grown from plants. So you can only have as much heroin and cocaine as those plants have been growing. But fentanyl and meth are made in a lab. The precursor chemicals come from usually China and India, and most of the meth and fentanyl we see is actually made in Mexico, comes across the border, and of course what we've got going on at the border right now is probably not helping us at all. And so we're seeing high amounts of fentanyl, and one of the reasons fentanyl is becoming the drug of choice, at least in my opinion, is a kilogram of fentanyl sells for about $3,000 to $5,000, transforms into 500,000 pills, which is worth $1.5 million on the illegal market.
How about that?
Yeah, that'll put things.
They're
in
also
perspective.
adding it. I mean, fentanyl is being something they're adding to a lot of different drugs. They're lacing it just because if you have something it doesn't have the potency or something like that, and you want to juice it up. Yeah. They're adding it to a lot of things. These vapes,
that's how people are dying.
I want parents to know this and I know this firsthand. Unfortunately, I'm telling you right now, if you don't think several, I don't want to give a percentage, but several high school kids don't think marijuana is that big of a deal, and have tried it, and especially with the vapes, which has made it really, really easy. And it's just a vape pen; it's no big deal. And all of a sudden, you think you're doing marijuana, and you're doing marijuana that's laced with fentanyl.
That's right. So
and I'm telling you, it's happening in the high schools a lot. And like I said, I know it firsthand and had to deal with this situation. And you're like, oh my God, what?
No.
What?
Don't tell me they're putting fentanyl in those vape pens.
Yes, they are.
No
that marijuana
way.
is being laced. Let Andrea talk about it. She's the expert.
Yeah.
Andrea, this is
they are putting fentanyl in pretty much every. They're even mixing meth and fentanyl. One is a stimulant and the other is a depressant, and it's just what? I was like, why would anybody even want to do that? And it's just bizarre that anybody would.
Is there ever a day when you guys
try this stuff?
When you guys are at your briefing, is there ever a day when you're like, what did you just say? I mean, do you ever get shocked like we just got shocked there on whatever is happening in the drug world?
Yeah, well, the meth fentanyl one is a fairly recent thing within the last year. So yes, that's pretty shocking. And one of the reasons we're probably undercounting overdose deaths, because especially in our rural communities, when they see somebody die, from an overdose, it sometimes is classified as a heart condition, heart attack. It looks like a heart attack. And if you're a small coroner in a small corner of the town or the county, you may not even know the signs of drug addiction, and you just write it off as a heart attack. So, it could be, especially in rural areas, we have way more overdose deaths than we think we do just because they're being undercounted.
And the meth and fentanyl together is kind of that modern day, what they would call a speedball back, that killed John Belushi. He did the heroin and cocaine mixed together, and they used to call it a speedball. And that's how he died. And this meth and fentanyl is kind of a modern day version of it that's even more deadly than a speedball like that.
It's Russian roulette. You really don't know what it is you're getting or how much of it you're getting. There is no quality control in these labs that are producing these counterfeit pills. It means some of those pills are going to contain a fatal dose.
Right?
What were you saying, Pam?
Well, also, there's no quality control in those garages that some drug dealers mixing together.
That's
you
great.
have to depend on this guy because, as Andrea will tell you, the lethal dose of fentanyl is equal to 2 grains of sand. Of salt.
And exactly.
Oh,
that's exactly right.
And for our listeners, Pam, your connection's not the best, so when you speak, we have to ramp up the volume a little bit. So when Andrew speaks, we bring it back down, just so our listeners understand what's going on from that standpoint. This is the dangerous part here, too. And we had a listener. We're trying to get some questions into you guys. A lot of people have questions for either one of you two, Pam or Andrea. What is the difference between the fentanyl that's given in hospitals and the fentanyl that you might see on the street?
Well, the main difference with the fentanyl that is given in the hospital is prescribed by a doctor. And the
it's
fentanyl
controlled.
you get on the street is not.
But isn't it also about when you get it from a farm? My grandma was on fentanyl before she passed away, and fentanyl patches. And I think that I'm assuming a pharmaceutical company, as you guys said, 2 grains of sand type of fentanyl can kill a person. If it's in a pharmaceutical company, it's pure fentanyl, and they can measure it in the tiniest amounts necessary. But if you're in a garage, how are they going to measure out 2 grains of sand and divide that up amongst a bunch of pills? I mean, it's just impossible.
We actually use the analogy of a chocolate chip cookie. You make that chocolate chip cookie at home. You don't sit there and make sure that every cookie has the same amount. You just dump it all into the bowl and you stir it up and you make cookies. And then we all know that when the cookies come out, you're going with the one that has the most chocolate chips in it, not the one that has the least. So now imagine those are fentanyl. That's a pill made with fentanyl in it. Some people are going to get the ones that has a lot of chocolate chips, and some are going to get the ones that don't have any.
I always wondered, why do we not have a shock and awe campaign against this, whether it's in Mexico or wherever the border is a great example. This stuff is just coming over like it's unabated water right now. Why does the DEA and all the agencies in the government have this same kind of a resolve that we might have had in Iraq or Afghanistan? Why are we not going, you know what, Mexico, if you're not going to stop this, we're doing it for you? Why has there never been that kind of a...
How, Eric?
I don't care how, Vic.
What the hell?
Seriously, it's like this is happening right now. It's just... seriously, why do we let the cartel? Why right now are the cartels literally flicking their middle finger at us across the border right now?
But you're asking a question that's like
it's
20
never
layers
happened.
deep.
It's never happened.
Andrea, can you answer his question?
Please.
Well, I will say if you go out and Google counterfeit pill story within the DEA, I have probably seen hundreds of stories.
We're constantly doing stories.
I'm talking about
everybody we can trying to warn people of these counterfeit pills, and it's just we got to get people to listen.
But doesn't the CIA? Here's my question. I'm sorry.
And maybe I'm misunderstanding too, Eric.
Maybe I'm not clarifying. The CIA knows where this stuff is coming from. You guys know where it is right now. We can see it on TV every day. It coming across the border. Why is there not an effort where we have thousands of agents in this hemisphere, at least, stopping where this stuff is coming from?
So I think the number I saw when I was looking for this is more than, this is just fentanyl. In the first 8 months, I think you already stated that 36% more than
Correct.
all of 2020.
Yeah, seizures.
That's
Fentanyl seizures.
8,000 kilograms of fentanyl.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so keep in mind, fentanyl is one of the smallest numbers of drugs coming across the border because it's so potent. You don't need as much of it. You add in there meth, cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl. And when you go to the Customs and Border Protection website and you see the amount of drugs coming across that is being seized, you're just shocked. How is anything getting through? But it is. It is that those drugs are getting across the border, and we sit here in the middle of the United States. So they come in. A lot of the drugs are coming in California and Arizona. Texas is the other place, and they actually come up through the Midwest on their way to to New England. So New York is one of the sources we see, and they're just so while we're stopping a huge percentage of those drugs, some of them are getting through, and that's the way the business actually works. Those cartels expect to lose some of their drugs at the border. They expect that their couriers will be arrested.
Wow.
Yeah, and Eric, you got to stop people from coming across the border first before you're able to stop the drugs.
Well, why aren't we stopping?
I mean, there's that. It's everything you say makes sense, but there's got to be something that goes with it.
And they don't search. They don't search people when they come across the border.
Look,
they're just going out and doing their
ask
thing.
questions on this show like I'm an alien from another planet, just in awe of you guys.
Pam, I know people can guess what it might be like, but can you please explain what it's like to see anyone, not just a child, but even an adult who gets addicted to this fentanyl, because I'm sure it can happen really quick.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that was what happened with my son. He was a heroin addict, and it is the most gut-wrenching thing for a parent to see. One of the reasons I'm with Addiction is Real is to educate parents, because I had no idea. You know, he was away at college. I didn't see him as often as I used to. But all of a sudden his grades dropped, and all of a sudden his hygiene changed, and all of a sudden, you know, he was distancing himself from us and his good friends. Complete change in his personality. Thin, he got so thin. You know, there are just so many things like that for parents to look for. But then also when we finally figured this out, he wanted to get better. He did not want the life of an addict. He wanted to be successful. He always had this wonderful work drive and ethic, and all of a sudden it wasn't there. So he went to rehab willingly. And he came out, he went to sober living, and then he went to step-down sober living. This was all for more than a year. And a month after he left sober living, he was gone.
And a lot of that has to do with
addiction. It just gets such a hold of you, which is why I fight so hard for parents to catch this before it becomes an addiction.
I'm so glad you do. You know, most people don't know this, but my youngest brother, my half-brother, Jeff, he was a heroin addict, and he died. I mean, it's a very serious problem, and I don't think people always see the signs.
Right.
One of the hard parts.
You know, one of the first things that you go through with any kind of a disease process is denial. And as a mother, I was in complete denial. You know, it's a phase. It's he's a college kid. This is what they do. And it turned out to be the most deadly thing that I could ever have imagined.
Now, like you said, your son went to rehab and was wanting to get better. One of the problems that happens is if someone is an addict and they do it on a regular basis, they have a little bit more of a tolerance. So they'll go to rehab and get better and get clean, and then they think, all right, I'm just going to do it once, and they'll do the same dose that they might have done before when they had that tolerance built up, and now that's a lethal dose.
That is exactly what the experts told us when we lost our Justin. Yes.
Pam, from the Facebook line, did you talk to your son about drugs when he was growing up?
We did. We absolutely did. And when he was a kid, he would never do that. He would never smoke cigarettes, But when they start succumbing to peer pressure and also to the stresses of the world, a lot of these kids start out depressed or anxious, and they're just looking to self-medicate because the first time somebody hands them a joint at a party and they feel calm, where they've been so pent up, they want more of that. We've got to talk to kids about healthy ways to get rid of that stress and anxiety so that they don't have to turn to these kinds of help to get them to feel normal again. That's the beginning of all this.
Andrea, you're with the DEA. You see this stuff every single day. We talked about the amount of seizures. We talked about the situation. What kind of impact is the DEA having not only in St. Louis but in Missouri when it comes to these issues right now?
It seems like it's a never-ending battle because we've all seen the increase in violence and homicides, and invariably we see that they are linked to drug trafficking, it's a battle that we can't win. We can only pick away at the edges of it and hope we make some kind of impact. That's why things like Addiction is Real and their education is so vital, because the only way you can stop the drug traffickers is to eliminate the demand. If there is no demand, then your business fails. And that includes the illegal drug trafficking industry. Get rid of the demand and we can stop the whole drug problem.
Well, we're grateful for the time that you two women have given us this morning. Is there anything else that you'd like to leave us with, either one of you two? Pam Greenberg, the president of Addiction is Real, who lived this and is now trying to do the best that she can to help others not have to go through it, or Andrea Swanson, who is with the DEA?
I have one thing I'd like to leave you with, that most of youth, most kids between the ages of 13 and 17 say that losing their parents' respect is one of the main reasons they don't try drugs. But you've got to let them know how you feel about it. If they don't know that you feel one way or the other, they don't know how to act. So talking to them as early as preschool about drugs. Now, in preschool, you're not going to talk about heroin or even beer or things, but you're going to talk to them about trusting mom and dad. And if something feels wrong, come to mom and dad, and never sharing medicines with a friend. And even we have a toolkit online. It tells you what to incorporate in the conversations as your child gets older. So these need to be regular, routine conversations so that your child is used to having them and they know they can come to you.
Great point. Andrea, anything from you?
I just say if you need to know something, go to justthinktwice.gov. Pam, your site, addictionisreal.org. Correct?
Right. It's addictionisreal.org. Yes.
So
look for our film, Don't Wait. It gives a lot of information. And please go into the virtual bedroom that we have set up where you can look for the hiding places yourself.
Yeah, and we'll be trying to do something on Fox too as well. Pam Greenberg, thanks again for coming on today and speaking to this topic. And Andrea, and I've told you before, thanks for all the work that the men and women from the DEA are doing throughout the St. Louis and Missouri area. That's for sure. And we appreciate you guys joining us this morning on The Edge.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys. It really sets the tone. I mean, you go in our 8 o'clock hour from a happy story with Gunnar Sexton helping police bring a suspect into custody. And then you get that, because I'm telling you, it's real. And it blew my mind, guys, when I had to deal with this, just like Pam talking about it. I won't get into all of it, but I can't tell you how many kids, most of the kids smoking marijuana and not even, and thinking it's fine or trying to because of vapes and it's cool and it's accepted and it's easy. It's not that big of a deal. And then the marijuana that you put in it, you don't even realize is laced with fentanyl.
Right.
So my son
I
said that
experienced
some of
it
his
firsthand.
friends,
I saw it, and it's real. And everybody's like, "What? What? We didn't know that."
Right.
And the only way you would ever know that is with a blood test, and just try to be proactive. And it takes people and parents who are proactive to even find out that that's in the system.
Does fentanyl not show up in a urine test?
It can show up. Yeah, we did one of those tests just to over the top proactive.
You have to.
What were you saying about your son, Eric?
He was saying that they're competing with the pot guys that sell marijuana.
Who's competing?
The drug dealers are competing with the dispensaries now.
Mm.
So the dispensaries are winning the day. If you want to smoke pot legally, you just go get a ticket or some kind of a prescription. Boom,
Or you get
there
your
go.
card.
So the drug dealers, apparently, according to him, they're putting this fentanyl in there to make it more addictive, to make it more of a thing.
So you want that brand from that,
Right.
Right.
That makes sense.
And that would totally make sense.
And that's why drug dealers give you samples. I always tell people, somebody came up to me one time, and it was a family member of mine, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I did this drug," and I'm like, "Why would you do that?" They're like, "Well, the neighbor gave it to me." I'm like, if the neighbor gave you a drug, they are a drug dealer, and they're trying to get you addicted so that you will buy the drugs. People just don't get it.
Yeah,
don't take junk you don't know what it is.
Yeah, we got to take a quick break. We'll come back with more on this and what's happened from a national standpoint as well. You're listening to The Edge with Eric Johnson. Brendan Shanahan in for Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell, and Vic Faust of Fox 2. The phone number, if you want to give us a call as well, 636-695-2915. And, of course, we love it when you share the stories and the questions on Facebook as well, 100.7 The Viper. Back right after this.
The Edge Morning Show.
Local headlines now with Fox 2's Vic Faust.
Wake up. The new abnormal.
This place is a nut house.
The Edge Morning Show.
Hi, this is Eric Joya, sales manager at the all-new Travers Automotive and RV at I-70 and TR Hughes. I'm personally inviting you to come see our awesome selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Travers Automotive and RV has the largest inventory of lifted trucks and Jeep Wranglers in the market. Our new location also has RVs from Mesa Ridge and Open Range, and a huge selection of pre-owned as well. Come see me and my team at Travers Automotive and RV, I-70 at TR Hughes, TraversAutoandRV.com.
Remember the beautiful pop and hiss listening to a brand new vinyl album? The warmth in the air, the magic of the sound. Vinyl can't be replaced, and vinyl is back. TheFinestVibes.com sells thousands of premium and collector's vinyl with hundreds of albums under $20, delivered straight to your door. Leonard Skinner, Bob Dylan, The Beatles, Prince, AC/DC, Queen, Frank Sinatra. TheFinestVibes.com has them all. Shop now. TheFinestVibes.com.
Get a grip on your finances with People's Bank and Trust's new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills with ease and all from the palm of your hand. Activate your phone today by visiting us online at www.pbtc.net. People's Bank and Trust. Hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hello, St. Louis and St. Charles County. This is John Londoff Jr. along with my good friend and partner, Jimmy Sappho. Jimmy, folks are wondering how Johnny Londoff Autoplex has become the fastest growing pre-owned dealer in the area so quickly. Are you kidding me?
Sir, for over 80 years, folks have trusted your family to give the best customer service, a great selection, and the lowest prices possible.
And don't forget our free lifetime powertrain warranty on most vehicles on the lot.
Visit us in St. Peters
and at LondoffAuto.com.
Hey, it's Shanny from the Legendary Lunch, and I want to tell you about my friends at Mascot's Bar and Grill, 4881 Mexico Road in St. Peters, right by the Recplex. And if you are looking for a place to hang out with your friends, it's Mascot's Bar and Grill. If you want delicious food, it's Mascot's Bar and Grill. From their appetizers like the giant pretzel, this thing is bigger than your head, to the steak sandwiches, the value menu, to the legendary lunch special. That's right, Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 3, you go in and tell them that you're FOS, you're a friend of Shanny's, and you want the legendary lunch special. It's a $5 half-pound burger and fries. That's right, $5 half-pound burger and fries. Better than any fast food burger you will ever have. And on Sundays, all day long. That's right. The legendary lunch special goes all day long on Sundays. Stop by and say hi to Jen and Rob. You will have a great time. Musical bingo, food, fun, friends, and family. It's Mascots Bar and Grill.
Time for some upgrades? A new deck, a privacy fence, or maybe a whole new look with new siding. But who do you call? What you gonna do? Call Bad Boys Construction LLC. They are locally owned and have over 30 years experience in every kind of fencing, siding, and deck jobs. Free estimates and everything is done right the first time. Bad Boys Construction is veteran owned and gives military discounts. So what you gonna do? Call Bad Boys Construction LLC. Online at badboysconstructionllc.godaddysite.com. On Facebook at Bad Boys Construction LLC.
Now, back to the Edge Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. You're listening to The Edge. Eric Johnson. Brendan Shanahan in for Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Been a fast show today. Gunnar Sexton, appreciated him coming in. Montgomery County kid, 16-year-old, helped police last night detain a suspect who had a cop in a headlock. Yeah, but 6'5", 235-pound Gunnar came in, helped save the day. Then we just got some real stats, some real information from Pam Greenberg, the president of Addiction is Real, and Andrew Swanson from the DEA on what's happening with drugs. And, of course, that spiked a lot of conversation. I'm getting text. I know you're probably talking to some people as well, Tabitha. It is interesting, Eric, what you said about your son. Now, that totally makes sense. That's what brings this whole situation on. Now, the dispensaries come in, marijuana or medical marijuana becomes legal. Then it's only a matter of time before recreational marijuana in the state of Missouri becomes legal. It's already legal in Illinois and other states. Then the drug dealers go, oh, well, we have to do something to separate our product. Let's lace it with fentanyl, make it more addictive. My God, the situations that our kids are dealing with is
evil.
crazy.
It really is.
And fentanyl is
highly
addictive. Highly addictive. Do you know how many people have died in this country? Not just from fentanyl addictions, but people who died because of the drug trade itself in this country, who kill each other over the dealing of the drugs.
There's something about me feeling more sorry for the parents, because right now the divide between a kid 6 years old all the way up until they're 20 is unreal. There's parents that don't even understand how to get onto the apps where they're communicating with the outside world. We'll start there. The online portion of how kids interact with the outside world versus how a parent interacts with the outside world. That's number one. Number two, you go to school, you are now learning things that the parent was never taught in school, doesn't have any clue about, has to find out through Zoom during COVID. So there's another divide between what your kid's being taught, indoctrination, and the parent. And now number three, this drug, we were all kids. We all messed around with kegger parties. We all did things behind our parents' back, but not to this degree.
I would have never even considered doing. I've never even been high. I would never even. I want no part of drugs. You know what though? That's because when I was young, I feel like I was taught a lot of valuable lessons to where I never even wanted to try it. And I'll tell you one thing I have learned from my own personal experiences with my youngest brother and other people I've come across. Once you're addicted, most people don't survive. Most people don't recover from addiction. It will plague you and follow you your entire life.
I went up to Anchorage, Alaska to record an album, actually, right after I got out of Shooting Star. I kind of hiatused myself from Shooting Star. Went up to Anchorage, Alaska, and the guy had a studio. He had great songs. He was a great singer. And I went up there, and the first thing he did, he said, we have to make a stop. He took me to a house where he had probably 1,000 pot plants. He was selling pot on the side to make money. But he died about 6 months into the project because he was a heroin addict. Him and his wife were heroin addicts, and they had a little 3-year-old kid. And the mom was still breastfeeding.
Awful.
So to this day...
So now the baby becomes a heroin addict as well.
Yes. So
that
I
takes
have
me back
seen...
to Courtney Love when she was Kurt Cobain. She got ridiculed for that because she was on drugs and breastfeeding.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And that doesn't even include fentanyl. I can't imagine what that world would have been like back then.
Well, keep in mind when it comes to fentanyl, too, up until last year, trafficking fentanyl, it wasn't even a felony in Missouri. That was up until last year.
Yeah.
That's because a lot of people just really weren't thinking about it. In our communities, certainly not lawmakers, but it happened. And, you had representative, not trying to give him extra credit, but I remember Nick Schroer saying, he was on the show earlier this week. He combined with the St. Charles County prosecutor, and they filed the bill and it passed to finally make trafficking of fentanyl a felony. I mean, it's a major, major problem in our state, and it still is. That's for sure.
And one of the things we were talking about in the break is Narcan. The efficacy of Narcan is not as strong to someone who's addicted to fentanyl. Sometimes it might take 2 shots of Narcan that would normally get somebody out of it. I mean, the fact that if you think how bad heroin is and how many kids and just people in general we've lost to heroin, fentanyl is 10 times worse and so much easier to add to something. Like they said,
the Facebook line, it's going to get worse. And
it is going to get worse.
And I agree, especially with what you see at the border. You just heard the DEA agent, for God's sakes, talking about it's making the situation worse.
And we're catering to it. If you go to certain places and you see
that the
depositories,
it's not coming through the border even more so now. Think again.
Of course
that
it
is. That's a money deal right down there. You better believe it.
But why are we catering to it? I've been to different places and you go in the restroom and they have a deposit box for used needles.
Have you been to Seattle lately? Right next to the Starbucks down in Pioneer Square, there's actually a building that you open the door. It has I don't know if it's clean or not, but you open it's all fluorescent lighting, and there are literally stations that you can go take your drugs into.
There are. Absolutely. And that's starting to pop up in a lot of cities where they have these zones where if you want to use drugs, you can sit in this little area in public and shoot up your drugs or use your drugs without fear of anything happening to you.
No.
I mean, what in the world is going on?
And you always think there are laws on the books about this federally and even locally about heroin and pot, but they still, like to your point, it's cool in Seattle anyway, that you set up a tent right in the back of a damn high school, which I know exactly where this high school is or this elementary school is. Set up a tent, and every night from 6 o'clock till 3 in the morning, they are seriously parties that you've never seen before. And they're drug parties, and this is where you go to get drugs. It's like these vendors on the street. Like you're getting a hot dog at a circus.
We know
crazy.
It happens,
But
and they don't stop it.
I'm just telling you right now, you do what you can as parents. But kids, when I say kids, teens, high schoolers now, I promise you, don't look at it, the drug situation, as even close to being a serious situation as it was when, let's say, their parents, us, in other words, were in high school. I guarantee it. I've had these conversations with my kids. It blows my mind what's going on and how many kids. And I know that every generation, I mean, it's not the same marijuana that you may think it was 20 years ago. And you gave some aspects of why, because people aren't, a lot of the kids, they don't want anything to do with fentanyl when they hear about it.
Of course not.
But they don't know what it is.
Until it's too late.
And they're not doing the marijuana on purpose sometimes at first until they get addicted. If they are getting addicted because of it being laced, not knowing.
I remember the drug dealers when I was in school, high school.
And more of it's coming.
And they were almost more like botanists than anything else. You'd have their little magnifying glass and prove to you that it was Colombian red.
Right.
And you were like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Look at the crystals on this thing, man. It's really premier stuff. That doesn't matter, it seems like, anymore. It's like if you're lacing all of this stuff anyway, then the pot becomes kind of a secondary thing.
Right.
Or the heroin, for that matter. The heroin doesn't need to be pure anymore because it's got that fentanyl stuff in it. Now you have the vapes. What?
Well,
how do these kids have a chance? They don't have a chance.
It's like adding something to to cut it. So they don't need as much heroin now if they add just that half a grain of salt of fentanyl. So now what would have that effect on you as heroin of a certain amount, you add that half a grain of salt, you can cut that amount of heroin, so it doubles the amount of money that you're making on that. Think of that.
Yeah, from the Facebook line, the medical marijuana that's being made now is being made to be very strong.
Yep. Because it's medicine. It's
Yes.
supposed to
Yeah,
do
'cause some of
something
them-
else.
Right. I know somebody that works in that industry, and and the people want the strongest they can possibly get. 98%, 99%,
Yeah.
Whatever they can get. But you know what? My biggest concern with like drug use is as a parent, how do you keep your kids from drugs? Like me personally, I told my son, and you guys might think this is harsh, but I absolutely believe it and I mean it. I always told him, if you ever do a drug, I will take you somewhere out in the woods. I will tie you up and I will hold you there for as long as I can till you get past it. And if you ever become a drug addict, I will literally
You would,
kill
because
you.
you've tased people in the woods.
Hey,
We
now.
know that.
No, but I am not kidding you. If I found out my son, I only have one child, if he was a drug addict, I would murder him. Because you know why? Because I will never live my life the parent of a drug addict. Because you know what? I don't want to see my son out on the streets, struggling, living homeless, being addicted, going back and forth. I don't want to deal with that.
That's a cop-out because, A, you would never kill your son. B,
Right.
there are parents out there that do deal with this.
I know they
and
do,
you have
and
to
they know how
empathize
hard
with
it
them.
is. And I do empathize with them. It is hard.
Sucks. It sucks, but you have to.
I do understand that. I know because of my half-brother and what my stepmother and my father went through. But I also have a cousin who has a kid who is addicted to drugs, and he lives out in a field and thinks he's like an army person, and her entire life is nothing but worry and heartache. And I would rather, I don't know. I know it's harsh, but I can't deal with that.
That's a very selfish thing
I can't
to say,
deal with it.
Tab. That's a super selfish thing
I know
to
it
say.
is. I know it is.
And I know that
And
you're
I'm saying-
exaggerating. To say that you would kill your son because he would be addicted to something
That
is
was,
a ridiculous
please tell me
statement.
that was tongue in cheek. That was tongue.
No. My point is that I said what I said to him is harsh. No, I wouldn't kill my own child. I don't know what I would do. But what I'm saying is that when he was younger, when we talked about drugs, that is what I told him. I said, if you ever get addicted to drugs, I will kill you myself before I go out and I watch you live like I see these other people live who are addicted to drugs. I mean, it's heartbreaking as a parent. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I feel so much for people who have to deal with their children this way. I don't even have words for it.
It's like saying my kid has Parkinson's disease. I'm going to kill him. So
No,
they
it's
don't have
not.
to go,
It's not the same
it's
thing.
Totally the same
It's
thing.
not the same thing.
Because you work the problem. You
So
always
a kid
work
with
the
Parkinson's
problem.
is
You
not out
always-
in the street living homeless,
Then you
selling their
I'll tell
body
you what,
for drugs.
Wouldn't it maybe be easier?
In some
Wouldn't
cases.
it be easier to find a nice little flat down in, I don't know, some part of the country that doesn't have a drug problem, maybe Florida somewhere, and get them addicted to something else? Maybe like
it doesn't work that way.
Sure, it does.
No, it doesn't. Most kids who are drug
They can
addicts,
start there.
They'll find it.
They
They
can
will
start
find
there.
it, and you know what? They're adults. They will find it wherever they go. Most people do not ever get over drug addiction. That's why when
You
people
work the
do, it
problem.
is so amazing.
You work the problem, and if that means working the problem for 30 years, you work the problem for 30 years.
And you know what? And everybody's life is over when your kid is addicted to drugs.
From the Facebook line, legalizing
Wow.
marijuana hasn't helped because, yes, you can get it from a controlled environment. The state has made it so expensive that people still can get it from their local dealer because it's cheaper.
They can get it cheaper from their local dealer. It's cheaper than going to get the medicinal marijuana or like over in Illinois. I know that they sell the carts and things like that. They don't sell the carts here in Missouri yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that can find that they cure themselves from addiction. And maybe the way that they find that peace is by helping other people who are addicted. They see the face of that addiction. They see it every day maybe. But they're out there saying, I'm going to help you become like me. And maybe that's the domino that rolls down the street. If I'm addicted, I'm going to go find someone else that's addicted right now. And we're going to become each other's friends forever. Maybe.
And that's easy to say, but
It is easy
but it
to
doesn't
say.
work that way, Eric. It just unfortunately does not always work that way. I wish it did.
There's a lot of people that
I told Tabitha earlier, I said I would never vote for her on anything because she is
Are you the parent of a drug addicted child, or are you the sibling of a
I'll tell you what,
drug
we'll have a
addicted
conversation
child?
after the show, and I'll let you. I'll make your mouth drop.
Okay.
But after the show, not in public.
Okay.
And I will tell you what. These people get addicted and they can be helped and they can be saved, and they don't
You
have to be
do
killed.
your best, yes.
And they don't have to be killed. And there has to be help with the general public. The local public has to help. The national public has to help. We have to have a militant.
You can't force someone into addiction treatment. You know that. You can't force someone to do it. You just can't. They're adults. They make up their own decisions. Half the people you see out in the streets who are homeless are drug addicts.
Well, part of the problem with addiction as well is there's people that get addicted by accident.
Yeah.
So they may have been
Absolutely.
in a car accident or something like that. They hurt their back and then they get on, the doctor prescribes them Oxycontin. Well, you know what? Now that they've taken this Oxycontin and they're used to it, now, okay, you're done, you're better. Well, their body's craving that. So now they have to go find the next best thing. The next best thing to next best thing is that hillbilly heroin or the made up the pills that people are doing in their garage, or they're doing heroin. And the difference in the potency is so much greater on a lot of the made up stuff, the garage, the bathtub, the bathtub drugs. You know what I mean? So these people are getting addicted because they had a reason to take this stuff in the beginning.
Sure.
And now their body's used to it and they want to keep taking it, and the effect on the bathtub stuff is so much greater and so much more dangerous.
We got to take a quick break.
That's fine. I would hate Tabitha to be my football coach.
No.
We would
Eric,
lose every game,
Eric,
every single game.
I already told you.
We could be favored.
I'm
and
not
still
here
lose.
to be sunshine and rainbows. I'm
No,
here to
but
tell you the
Johnson.
truth.
Would you hate it?
Eric,
Brennan
if you
Shanahan.
fumble, she's going to take you and tie you to a
Tabitha
tree and
Hassell.
kill you.
Yes, I will, actually.
Maybe
join-
you would want her as your football coach.
I would join the chess club,
I've
the
been
Glee
Faust
club.
to Fox too. We'll be right back. Hey, there's a story that when we come back, we'll tell you about too. We appreciate it. So come back. A golden retriever was missing for 2 weeks. It was found in a body of water, alive. Just wait to hear the story. We'll be back right after this.
This is the Edge Morning Show.
Live on 100.7.
The Viper.
Mom, Ethan's in the tree again.
Ethan, get down.
Can I climb on the swing set instead?
Sounds like it's time to get all your adventure-seeking kids to Holiday World and Splash and Safari. They'll soar on Thunderbird, race against each other on Cheetah Chase, the first launched water coaster, and get the thrills they love on all the wooden roller coasters. Get your family fun off the ground at holidayworld.com.
Free smoking, free parking, free sunscreen!
You went online to switch your car insurance to Progressive so you could save money. But then you saw a friend request from an old summer camp buddy. And now here you are, clicking through photos of his kickball team from 2011. Looks like they won the championship that year. Then he moved to Tulsa. Oh, a new tattoo. Yes, they said it was easy to save hundreds on car insurance with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National average savings by new customer surveyed who saved in 2019.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
It's pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
An important message from Quiver River Electric Cooperative. During this unprecedented time in our world, we want to emphasize our commitment to continue delivering reliable power while keeping our members and employees safe. Our linemen are taking precautions to stay socially distanced. Other employees are working from home. Although we've adjusted our operations, we want you to know that we are still here and we will continue to keep the lights on. For more, visit quiver.com or call us at 1-800-392-3709. Quiver River Electric, a Touchtone Energy Cooperative.
Bentley's Marine and Electronics is open in Lake St. Louis and ready to serve you. Check out their marine section for boat accessories, marine audio, water floats and supplies. Upgrade your vehicle with a new stereo, amp, speakers, reverse camera, remote start, and more. And don't forget the home theater. Shop local with confidence and let Bentley's Marine and Electronics show you that they meet or beat the big box stores. On Lake St. Louis Boulevard across from Denny's. Online at Bentley'sElectronics.com and on Facebook at Bentley's Marine and Electronics.
Ask Sherwin-Williams and get your color your way. We've made it easier than ever to try and buy color. Preview paint colors in your home with our Color Snap app. Then visit swsamples.com to have color chips delivered to your door for free. Or order some peel and stick samples to try on your wall. When you're ready to paint, shop online or stop by your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store and get everything you need.
Now, back to the Edge Morning Show.
Well, shoot. Welcome back to the show. I lost my story, guys. Are we on?
Yeah, we're there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was dirt. Hey, Eric Johnson, Brendan Shannon, Tabitha, and Big Faust. I had the story and I lost it. I lost it. Long story short, what I did know, a dog was missing for 2 weeks. It was found swimming in the New Jersey Bay, and it was well. It hadn't eaten, but nobody knows if this dog was swimming for the entire time, if it had things to latch on to, but they found it in the New Jersey Bay 2 weeks after. 2 weeks after the dog went missing.
That is amazing.
But all is good and well. The dog has been returned to its rightful
2 weeks
owners.
in the New Jersey Bay, dog's going to come out with mutant powers.
He's a Navy SEAL.
Flying. The dog flies now.
That's great.
I know. And I had more to the story, but I lost it. I'm sorry about that. We appreciate everybody joining us today for the show, though. As always, tomorrow we'll get it. Eric, we'll let you get more into the backlash against critical race theory, because last night there was a crazy meeting in Loudon, which you brought up. Parents that did go and fight against this were very, very, very adamant it wasn't going to happen.
Or the Colorado mayor that just said, we're not going to say the Pledge of Allegiance anymore. It's happening all over the place. Backlash, people. Get ready. It's coming.
One mom said, we are an army of moms and parents that will not stop until we're heard. So they can mute our mics, they can arrest us, they can kick us off public property. We're not going to stop. Loudoun County parent.
Soccer moms are going to save the world.
We'll see.
I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that.
And we'll get into more of that tomorrow. We appreciate you guys making this a great show again today. We'll see if we can get the two subjects today. We're trying to do something on Fox 2 this week as well. Gunnar Sexton and what's happening with the DEA and Pam Greenberg. Thanks again for joining us. Eric Johnson, have a great day.
You have a great day.
Brendan Shanahan, I don't know. You're not going to be back tomorrow, right? Or you are? Or
Who knows?
Who knows, right, Brendan?
I didn't know I was going to be here until about 10:30
We threw a lot
last night.
at you. Great job. Tabitha Hassell, Vic Faust of Fox 2. Thanks again. Have an awesome day. We'll see you for Fox 2 News at 5 and 9. And I'll be wearing some blue on blue tonight on Fox 2 News at 5. Have a great day.
Nice.
KFNS FM, Troy, St. Charles, and the Westplex. 100.7 FM, The Viper.